privacy was just about your phone. Passwords, apps, that kind of thing. But one night on the road made me realize someone can be watching you without ever touching a screen. I was driving down south on a solo road trip last summer, something I'd wanted to do for a while. No set itinerary, just the open road gas station coffee and a few playlists on shuffle. Somewhere around the fourth day, I hit that late afternoon fatigue that creeps in fast after too much sun and too little rest. I didn't want to drive through the night again, so I pulled off near a small town and found this cheap motel off the highway. It wasn't anything fancy, the kind of place with yellowed signage and rooms you can unlock with too much force. But it felt quiet, and I figured one night wouldn't kill me. The woman at the front barely looked up when I asked for a room. She handed me a key card and said back row, second from the end. I remember thinking it was oddly specific. No pick a room, no small talk. Just that one. The room itself looked tired, stale carpet, low hum from the mini fridge, and the smell of something chemical trying to be clean. I threw my bag down and took a quick shower. That's when I noticed the mirror. It was mounted above the corner sink, a single slab of glass, darker than it should have been. It didn't reflect the room well, like the lighting never quite hit it right. I leaned in. There was a faint gap between the edge of the mirror and the wall, barely visible unless you really looked. I remembered something from online, a way to tell if a mirror is two-way. If you touch the glass and your fingertip meets the reflection perfectly, that's a red flag. I tried it. They touched. I froze for a second. Not scared yet, just that uneasy pause when your brain does a double take. Then I told myself I was being ridiculous. Probably just cheap glass. Poor lighting. I even took a flash photo with my phone and stared at the image. There was a faint, dark shape behind the mirror, not clear, just a difference in tone. Could have been wall studs. Could have been shadow. I almost sent the picture to a friend with a dumb caption like, "If I disappear, tell my story." But something about saying it out loud made it feel real. I deleted the photo instead. That night, I microwaved some noodles, watched bad cable TV, and eventually crashed with the lamp still on. At around 3 a.m., I woke up. No sound. Just that gut-level shift, like pressure changing in the room. The TV was blue-screened, humming low, and I could see the mirror from where I lay. It looked off, not broken, not moving, just wrong. Like it wasn't reflecting anymore. Like it was absorbing. I turned on the bedside light. Instantly, the mirror looked normal again. But I stepped closer, and right near the center, I saw it a smudge. Small, round. Like a fingerprint on the inside. Now I was fully awake. I dragged the desk over, climbed up, and examined the mirror edge with my flashlight. The top was loose. I slid a paperclip into the gap and felt open space. Not wall, air, a hollow cavity. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed. My hands were cold. My chest felt too tight for how quiet the room was. And for the first time, I noticed how weirdly still everything was. No cars outside. No hallway creaks. No plumbing. I walked downstairs and told the front desk woman I wanted a different room. She didn't ask why. Just said, "We're full tonight." Her tone was flat, like she'd already decided before I walked in. I asked if the room next to mine was occupied. No. Maintenance. That made it worse. I went back to my room but left the light on this time. I sat on the bed and stared at the mirror, not daring to blink for too long. At some point I must have nodded off. When I woke up, the lamp was off, and the TV, which I hadn't touched, was unplugged. At sunrise, I packed and left. No shower, no breakfast. I didn't even brush my teeth. I drove 2 towns over and found a diner. I sat down, ordered coffee, and pulled out my phone. There was a notification from an app I didn't remember downloading. One of those anonymous messaging platforms, the kind that lets people send you photos or texts if they have your number. The message was from an account with no name, no profile photo, no info, just one image. I opened it. It was that room. The photo was taken from behind the mirror through whatever space had been carved out behind the wall. It showed me standing on the desk, face close to the glass, focused, unaware. There was no caption, no audio, nothing else. I deleted the app, changed my passwords, shut off location tracking. But for days after, I kept seeing my own eyes in that photo, like I wasn't just being watched, but studied, like I was looking at myself from the other side. And the part that chilled me the most, whoever sent, that only needed one thing to reach me. My phone number, the one I'd written down at check-in. I don't know who sent it. I never responded. I deleted the message, reset my phone, wiped my browser history. I even checked Reddit, local news, anything. That motel, it's not listed anymore. I couldn't find it again if I tried. But I still remember the way that mirror looked. And more than that, I remember the feeling like I'd been picked. Not watched randomly. Chosen. Because I noticed. Because I looked too long. Whoever was behind that wall, they wanted someone who would look. Since that night, I check every mirror in every room I stay in. I tap the glass. I feel for gaps. Not because I think I'll find something again, but because I know what it feels like to be watched by someone who doesn't need a reason. And I never want to give them a second chance.